Missouri's Speaker of the House is in a bit of hot water, facing calls for an investigation and even his resignation after charging taxpayers for a trip he took to Hawaii. Republican Dean Plocher had filed an expense report asking the state of Missouri to reimburse him about $1,200 for this conference trip already paid for by his campaign. Plocher says he's acting proactively and ethically to pay the money back, but that's just where this story begins. Let's dive in with our roundtable of journalists. Please welcome back Brian Ellison, host contributor with KCUR, and KMBC9 political reporter Michael Mahoney. I think what's notable here is that much of the criticism is coming from within his own party here.
Well, some of it, and he's also, and others on the Republican side are also blaming the Missouri Independent newspaper, which broke this story, whom a lot of Republicans believe is a left-wing news organization, and they've been blasting the Independent for basically blowing up a story that they don't think is that big.
And yet, many Republicans were more than happy to quote the Independent on this story, to use it as an opportunity to criticize Dean Plocher. And this is a really interesting moment, I think, Cody, because we're seeing some rifts in the Missouri Republican Party. Remember, Republicans have more or less single-party rule. They own all of the statewide offices, supermajorities in the House and the Senate. They're going to start making some distinctions between themselves, and in this case, they have been very personal distinctions. Plocher fired back at Attorney General candidate Will Scharf, referencing his time in Josh Hawley's office when that office was investigated. He fired back at Jay Ashcroft, going all the way back to 2016 when Ashcroft was campaigning and talking about his dropping out of the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy and not paying back those scholarships. So Plocher showed himself to be a little feisty, a little spicy about these issues, and we'll see where it leads, and also we'll see what it portends for the 2024 legislative session. Plocher, presumably, will still be Speaker of the House. There's a lot of work to do.
At the tail end of this last week, he went on Scott Vaughn's Mid-Missouri Missouri Times update and said, absolutely not. This is Plocher. Absolutely not. He is not going to resign. He's looking forward to leading the legislature in the next legislative session. And Plocher, is because he's going to be termed out after this next year, is running for lieutenant governor. And just this week, Bob Onder, who was a state senator from the St. Louis area, put $500,000 of his own money into a potential campaign account, so he may get into this race. Onder's one of the very staunch conservatives in the Senate when he was there. So we'll see. This all goes back to Brian's point about these rifts in the Republican Party in Jeff City that have been there now for at least a couple of years.
Right. Now we're also seeing, along with the lieutenant governor's race, some movement in the governor's race as well.
That's right. So we, in addition to kind of the tension that this incident has revealed among the Republican candidates who are considered the front runner, whichever of them wins the primary, we now have a new candidate, Michael Hamra, a Springfield Democratic business person, challenging fellow Springfield resident Crystal Quade, who is the House Democratic leader, who had been considered the leading Democratic candidate for governor. Very interesting choice and an interesting reflection on the state of the Democratic Party. Just as with the U.S. Senate race back in 2022, it may come down to a choice between a person who's done some field work, tried to establish relationships in the political arena, versus a person who comes in with a lot of money, like Trudy Busch Valentine did against Lucas Kunce, who thinks that's the better path to possible Democratic victory.
Yeah, the last thing Democrats need, given their situation politically in the state of Missouri, is another potentially expensive primary for governor. It looks like they may already have one in their Senate race.
Real quick, third quarter reports are out for campaign finance. Who's on top right now?
In the Missouri Republican race for governor, the current lieutenant governor, Mike Kehoe, is leading the pack over his two rivals, Jay Ashcroft, the Secretary of State, and Bill Eigel, who is also running in the Republican primary, and his lead is fairly substantial. Over in Kansas, the prohibitive favorite right now for the Republican nomination seems to be Pranseth Reddy, who outraced his two other opponents, according to the latest reports, 3-1. And so he right now, I think, would be presumed the prohibitive front runner for the Republican nomination to challenge Sharice David.
All right, we'll be watching. Michael Mahoney, Brian Ellison, thank you. We'll be right back.